Let's take a look at the odds, shall we? And focus on that game. Manchester United, of course, a poor weekend made even worse with today's draw. Look at that. PSG are 5-1 on. This is to advance to the quarterfinals. Crikey.
It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously. I can't think of a reason why Manchester United would beat PSG. I just can't think of any reason at all. And so when you look at the odds, spot on. Absolutely. I won't put a penny on United.
Here's the thing as well. When we've had these discussions in the past, people have brought up, well, it's 2 months away, you know, anything can happen in that time. It's very difficult to see what can happen in that 2 months that will change United so much.
Well, I think it's, from one perspective, it's very easy to see what's going to happen in 2 months' time for Manchester United. They're going to be the same thing that they are now, and that's neither here nor there. It's purgatory. It's a team that is a mid-table group that they don't really know where they're going or coming or what in all is happening within the club. And if that continues, then I think you can certainly put out there the idea that PSG, yes, they're favorites. They should be favorites. And Manchester United, they'll be lucky to compete in this tie. It really, that is the difference for now between PSG or any top team and whatever Manchester United are right now.
You could argue that United could go out and sign some players because they've changed the rules. They could go and get players and the team could look different.
Yeah, well, they can take one player, can't they, that's played in the Champions League already?
Listen, to be honest, they need 6 or 7, so one's not going to make any difference.
I suppose the most optimistic of United supporter would say, well, we beat Juventus.
Yes.
In Turin, so we have a chance. But let's be frank, for those that watched both those games, both games were actually tight. But the one at Old Trafford was a murder.
Yeah.
And the one in Turin should have been absolutely dead and buried until they made a couple of mistakes at the end, and Szczesny made a mistake. So that's not papering over the cracks. I don't think there'll be too many of those supporters, to be fair. There'll be the odd one holding on to that hope. But if PSG turn up in 2 games and play the kind of football we know they're capable of, they should just wipe the floor with them.
Is there a silver lining, though, in a sense, for United, in a sense that, say they drew Porto and got knocked out, you'd be like, well, come on, you've got to beat Porto. But because it's PSG, does it give them slightly more of a
I don't
pass?
see any silver lining at the moment around Manchester United in this team. I just don't. I think we could sit here and try and butter it up the best we can. And there's no silver lining about the way you're playing. When you're playing like that and you have the problems that they have within the club and within the dressing room.
Like, it's just difficult to come up with one reason to be optimistic. If you're Manchester United, fan, player, coaches, front office, what is there to hang on to right now that you can say, you know what, this is something that really is going to put us over the top. This is how we can turn the corner. There is no direction. The tailspin is strong, very strong. Yeah. The brakes are coming out and they're not working. They're pumping the brakes and nothing's happening. It's a free fall.
You know, what you're doing here, getting the odd result, is you're keeping the patient alive.
Yeah.
Because ultimately there's only an end here. We know everybody knows how it's going to end. You're just sort of keeping the patient alive to plod on to the next day and the next game and the next week. But there's nothing really that they can do with this particular manager in charge. I mean, we've been over this Mourinho thing time and time again. I don't think I've come across anybody, if at all, who have said, do you know what? I think given the transfer window in January and the summer, Mourinho can get this right. I don't think I've heard one person say that.
Jules, what was the reaction in Paris to the draw?
It was quite positive. I mean, they wanted Schalke, like all the teams that finished top of their group. But I think after Schalke, I think they would have fancied their chances against United. The idea was that it is a team in crisis, and they know that. And also, it's a very different PSG team than the one that lost at Liverpool on match day 1, for example, of the group stage. I think that was the turning point of the season there, because Thomas Tuchel said to the players, listen, we can't defend the way we did as a team, the front three not defending, no one trailing back. If we want to achieve great things this season, we'll have to play as a team. We have to be, together with solidarity, with unity as well. And unless we do that, we're not going to go anywhere. And I think he changed the system. They play 3-4-3 formation now. And the team spirit is much better. And I think in 2 months' time, this side of them should even be stronger than it is now. So I can see why people think they're favourite, and I can see also why they thought that draw was positive.
I think the draw's great for Tuchel and PSG. You wouldn't have said that a few years ago, getting Man United. So from that sense, they've got a wounded animal for sure. On the other side of the coin, and we talked about it in the group stages, that he could ill afford not to get out the group. Yeah. Might have cost him his job, might. losing to this Man United team now and the current guys in this format is frowned upon. It's going to be frowned upon. So as good as it is for PSG, they've got to get the job done. Otherwise, it ain't going to look good on him.
He's got a point, hasn't he, Jules? Excuse me.
You're going to live through this? Jules?
He's got a point, because if it's Barcelona knock you out, you can maybe put up an excuse.
Yeah, you're right. And the pressure will be on PSG very much so. I think if things are very similar in 2 months' time on the 12th of February when they play their first leg at Old Trafford, they will feel the pressure like they did against Napoli and Liverpool and Red Star Belgrade in match day 4, 5 and 6 of the group stage. And I think they would have learned a lot from those 3 games because it was so tight. And it was like, we lose against Liverpool and we're out at the Parc des Princes. And they went and win that game, which is maybe something they wouldn't have done in previous years. So having such a tough group stage, I think will help them in the last 16 against United, and if they do go through, then after that as well.
Does anybody else want to talk? Because I don't think our presenter can talk at the moment.